Love is like, kind of, sort of, it means, um, you like, sometimes you have like hearts on your eyes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, first there's a heart, then there's a key. Something about birds, something about bees. Oh, I know, yes, I know the secrets of love.
Sex is a physical event. Making love is a physical, mental, and emotional event. It's not even in the same category.
Yeah. Good.
See?
Good distinction.
People that are making love can have sex periodically, quickies. But people who are addicted to sex rarely make love. So I teach women in particular, and sensitive men especially, that you must not have intercourse or make love until you know what the deal is. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt. I mean, if it's a shipboard romance or if it's a one-night stand or whatever it is, if you both agree, I'm not a moralist, have fun. But if you're looking towards marriage and he's looking towards a one-night stand, that's a bad deal. Decide what you're having. Do you want to explore your sexuality? Then do so safely, under contract. I am too young to have a long-term relationship. I'm going to college in September, but would you like to explore our sexuality together? Okay, I think it's called hooking up.
Now, oxytocin is the bonding hormone. Friendships, nurturing stimulates oxytocin. For women, not men, oxytocin is what lowers stress in their body. Oxytocin is what keeps them happy. And the irony is, even if she doesn't climax, if he climaxes, which he always will, it will pump them up. So just him inside of her will push up these hormones. She bonds with him, and this guy might not even care about her, might not call her back, might not be interested in her, but her body's saying, must have oxytocin, must have him. So the great insight for teenage girls, as well as for women in their 20s, is when you're going to have sex with somebody, make sure that you're already happy and you're not needing them to make you happy. So you've got that sense of foundation to be happy. The next thing is that if you're going to have sex with someone, make sure it's somebody that loves you, because it hurts a lot. It's not just emotional hurt. It's somebody punches you in the stomach, and it's a wound when you open yourself up and bond with somebody who's not there available to you. Often women talk about men as having commitment issues, and men's commitment issues are very different from women's. And men go, I don't have a commitment issue, I just lost interest. And but they do lose interest. But part of their losing interest is that when they have sex without a relationship, without intimacy, then for men, from sex, the brain chemical dopamine becomes so intense that he now experiences this huge pleasure in his brain, and it's associated with the dopamine. And this is what cocaine does, produces huge amounts of dopamine. Sex produces huge amounts of dopamine. When you have an intimate relationship, you've got serotonin. Serotonin balances dopamine. So when your serotonin levels go up, your dopamine levels don't go as high. But let's say you're a man who is typically low in dopamine, then you're looking for something to pump it up. Drugs will pump it up. Alcoholism is pumping up dopamine. Cocaine is pumping up dopamine. And promiscuous sex. That means sex without intimacy will pump up dopamine really high because there's no serotonin to balance it off. So now as a man, for me, for example, I've got plenty of dopamine. I don't have low dopamine, so I can be in love with my wife, have plenty of serotonin, and it doesn't lower my dopamine levels. But if you're already low in dopamine and you begin to experience serotonin going up, your dopamine levels are like, low as opposed to the high serotonin. So what then happens is that men pull away from women. So men will get close, their serotonin levels go up, then their dopamine goes down and they pull away to build up their dopamine, and dopamine will go super high if they have a sexual experience without intimacy. And that's why you get men becoming addicted to sex without intimacy, or now what's happening is pornography on the internet. Massive amount of men, just they get high looking at the pictures. You know what that does? That stimulates testosterone and dopamine, just very much like a cup of coffee does, or or 3 cups of coffee. So what men need, and teenagers need, is to learn how to produce tremendous amounts, normal amounts of dopamine through their accomplishments, through their achievements, through sports, through education, through doing good homework and so forth, feeling that I've got goals to set. That stimulates testosterone and dopamine, which are the hormones that lower stress in a man's body. So again, sex comes in there, and you get a young guy who's got low dopamine, suddenly he can just go have sex, boom, he becomes addicted to having sex. So his whole life is about having sex, which is like so limiting to him, when his whole life could be about achieving goals and educating himself and making a difference, and sex comes along with that. So infatuation is an early stage of attraction, where you really don't know the person, but you're projecting onto them, what if they were my ideal partner? How would I feel about them? And it's not like we think that, it's just chemical reactions. There's some part of us that goes, okay, I'm compatible with them in some way. Often it's a physical chemistry that takes place. And if you could also discover, because the person was right for you, an emotional chemistry, a mental chemistry, and a soul chemistry, then you really have found lasting true love.